Verse 18, look what happens. I like this. In verse 18 it says, and Jesus walked by the sea Galilee. He saw two brothers, Simon called Peter, Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, following, by the way, he said, believe in me 5 times. Do I need to explain what believe means to this group? The word means it's pisteuo in the Greek. Right? It's pisteuo. Sometimes it's spelled B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Sometimes it's spelled C-O-M-M-I-T. Sometimes it's spelled E-N-T-R-U-S-T, and trust. In our Bibles, that one Greek word is mentioned different ways, spelled different ways. Honey, there's a lot of difference in the way we use it today. I believe I need to exercise and eat right. But did you eat that barbecue tonight? And so what happens, I believe I ought to exercise and eat right, but I'm not willing to commit to that, so it doesn't do anything for me. And the issue is not does people believe or not believe. The issue is, are you ready for that to do something to you? Amen. The word means to trust, and every person I speak to, I usually go over a wheelbarrow example that we give often at our church. I said, pretend with me there's a guy walking across the Grand Canyon with a wheelbarrow, and he gets over here and he says, sir, do you believe I can push this wheelbarrow across the Grand Canyon? I said, yeah, I just saw you do it. Then he says, then get in the wheelbarrow. And I would say, I'm not about to trust you with my life. You see, the issue in America is not does people believe. The issue is, are you ready to get in God's wheelbarrow and let Him take control of your life? The old people call it repentance. A willingness to leave a life of sin and become a follower of Jesus Christ. And there's only a few that wants that. But that will change anybody's life. It's the gospel. And so He comes up and He gives them a choice. Here He says, follow me, I love this. I love this word. I'll make you. You. I'm talking to you now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Peter, I'm talking to you. James, I'm talking to you. John, I'm talking to you. It's personal. You don't come follow Him because your mama told you to. You come because He's invited you. You come. And there's a choice here, because if you keep reading, I love this part. There's only a few that really wants this life. And here's the evidence. And they immediately left everything and followed Him. You can talk the fluff. Hey, we've seen people come to this rally get saved. Not out there, in here. And I'd be shocked if everybody in here was born again. Amen. I will say this, when you see those few that are willing to give up everything and become a follower of Him, when you see those few, when you see those who's hungry enough to leave it all behind, pay attention to them. God saying amen. Often this is the way I say it in my church. If that's not God, hang it up. If it is God, put Him on speakerphone. So you look for those who are ready to leave it all behind. And it brings me to the third thing. The third thing is where I really want to talk to you a little bit tonight on. There's the calling of the disciples. There's the choice from the disciples. Here comes the classroom. You ready? This is going to shock you. Verse 23 through 25. In verse 23 it says, and Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogue, teaching in their synagogue, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease among the people. His fame went throughout all Syria. They brought to Him all sick people who were afflicted with various disease and torments, and those who were demon-possessed, epileptics, and you can read on and on through this. I want to bring out two things here, and just let us soak on it a little bit tonight. Let me give you a little insight here. First of all, the classroom for the disciples isn't just inside the church. Did you notice he goes to the sanctuary and immediately he goes to the people? Do you realize that this is just me estimating? It's not really close to being accurate. But Benny, I would say the Bible probably records somewhere, if you evaluated the Gospels, of Jesus' ministry locating and what he was doing, probably about 95% was outside the church. Everywhere you read about. Now you see him in a synagogue teaching every now and then, but most of his time was outside the church, 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 Clayton, outside the church. Just inside the church learning about Jesus isn't actually a Christian journey. Information happens in the building we call the church. Transformation happens in the believers being the church. Amen. Stagnation happens when you get information and you don't put it to practice. Information happens in the church. Transformation happens as you walk out and live like Jesus. Stagnation happens when you sit in the church, get your information, and never put it to practice. And we got a whole lot of stagnant people. Can I get an amen? Living, I used to say it this way, that discipleship is living life together. That's just the way I always defined it. It's living life together. Come, we'll grill out. We'll mentor each other. Iron sharpening iron. That's right. I used to say, discipleship is living life together. That's not true. That's fellowship. Living life together is fellowship. Living life together intentionally trying to reach the lost, and that's discipleship. Amen. And discipleship doesn't happen in the classroom near as much as it happens when you find that hungry person before the church messes them up. You take that hungry person along to your side. This is what I told the man in the red suit. He gets saved, this is the way he gets red suit. That sounded like Santa Claus, didn't it? This guy right here, Santa, thank you for being here tonight. This is what I told him. Well, first of all, this is how he got saved. He said, that preacher better not be trying to get me in church. So we did. We tricked him into church. You know how we tricked him? We planted Jesus right there, and presto, all of a sudden he wanted to go to church. And then I looked at the lady to his left, his right, and I said, after about a month, I said, you give me your husband for 6 months, I'll give you back a better husband. She said, what do you mean? I said, Tuesday night I go out visiting. Plant him in my chair, in my seat. The problem with him, he was a little bit slow. It took him 2 years he stayed with me. Right there. And then you know what we did? We sent him out. He's a preacher. That started off with, he better not try to get me in my church. Because discipleship doesn't happen on the broad scale. It happens living life together, him watching me, trying to, this is what I told my baby girl one day, my little precious adopted baby. I love her, don't I? I told her one day, she said, Daddy, what you going to do today? I said, me and Brother Don, we're going to try to pull 2 sinners out of hell. And she looked at me, I said, we superheroes, baby. The other day, you slept with him, right? You've been in my house. The other day, this is what happened, my first foster son was about to get married, and his fiance says, your daughter convicted me the other day. I said, how's that? Says, well, we was riding on Sunday, riding our little bikes, and we met a neighbor. I told the neighbor, and your daughter said, are you going to tell them about God? And she said, well, she said, my dad would. You know what's happening? I didn't even know it. This is what happened. My baby girl is realizing Christianity isn't lived out on the pew. It's lived out in the community. This is discipleship. And that's an error that we have. I want to give you an example. example and maybe land the plane, because I could preach a long time, but, well, let me just, I know it's getting, how many just give me 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let me give you an example. Let me have 2 people. I think I got them. I think I got them. I think the Lord's done this. Ron, would you come up here if you would, please? MD, would you come up here? This is what we're going to do, honestly, if you'll play this with me. We're going to start 2 churches. 2 churches. So what I want you to do is I want you to get somebody to come over here and we're going to study. We're going to start 2. Just go get anybody out there, bring them back with you. We're going to start 2 churches. 2 churches. If you will, go right over here. You go right over here. Okay, now this is what I want you to do. Who wants to be the bad guy? Would y'all sit down just a moment? This is what I want y'all to do. I want you to get deep, brother. I want you to get into the Hebrew and the Greek and get deep. Would you? I want you to do something. I want you to take your Sunday school lessons and put it to practice. Go get somebody else, would you? Just go get somebody else. Now, get deep. Won't you go deep? Okay, we've done our lesson. Let's go get somebody else. Hey, you too. Hey, you go. You're acting like you're getting deep over here, Clayton. Deep. Steve, come on over. Okay, now this is what we got here. Watch this right here. They get, what they get? Deep. He thought that amen word was long. They get deep. They can quote it. Watch this. Here's what Francis Chan said. Francis Chan said this. He says, he's going to tell his daughter, Rachel, go clean your room. And this is what she's going to do. Have you seen that? She's going to come and she's going to say, I memorized it, Daddy. He said, or she went and she says, I did a Bible study on it. I studied it out about 2 hours. I can tell you all about it. Hey, I didn't tell you to study it. I didn't tell you to get deep with it. I said, go get your room clean. You're going to make disciples. Go get you another. But what they're doing, they studying it. Daddy, I memorized. You said, clean my room. I memorized it, Daddy. And I'm afraid what happens. Hopefully sin will not be your distraction. There will be a battle with yourself, but I'm afraid your biggest distraction will be the very church you attend. The pastors ain't even fired up about going and getting lost. And you're going to sit here and you're going to drop, and you'll come back next year filled up, prayed up, fueled up, ready to bust Daytona wide open. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But that's your mission trip.
That's right.
Your mission field
That's right.
is back home.
Amen.
You may be seated.
Amen.
Would you honestly, would you like to be, honestly, would you like to be, honestly, would you like to be this fired up when you get back home?
Amen.
Wouldn't you? This is what someone just told me. This is what someone just told me. I wrote it down. This told me. It said this here. It's so easy to get smothered, was the word, by everyday distractions. I wish there was a machine where we could get some Jesus juice out like a drink. I'm going to ask you to bow your heads. The keyboards would come. I'm going to ask you, would you ask Jesus to help you be intentional? When you get back home, you'll look for somebody hungry. And you'll take them with you by first going yourself out of the church into the community. Finding somebody who's a little bit hungry. Taking them with you. And letting them watch you. I don't know where you're at. Maybe for some of you, you need a fresh boldness. Maybe some of you need to come to the well. And you need to ask God, don't let this mission mindset stop. I'm tired of it, Lord. I want to go back home. Would you meet with us tonight, oh Father? Maybe some of you hadn't been to the altar all week. Would you come and sit with your Father? He's a good, good Father. And He wants to help you stay focused and forget the spiritual ADHD. Fix your eyes on Christ. Let Him charge you up, not for tomorrow, but back to getting you back home, fired up, prayed up, fueled up. Oh God, come and meet with your people. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
You're a good, good Father.
Yes, you are.